In today's video, I'm gonna give you the top 5 snowboard turning mistakes that's holding you back. Let's go. Today's video is sponsored by DJI's Osmo Action Cam 3. And this thing is amazing, so awesome that I'm actually taking it to Japan because it's so dependable. And later in the video, I'm gonna give you my top 3 favorite things that I absolutely love about this camera. So stay tuned, check that out. So in this video, I'm gonna give you the top 5 most common mistakes when it comes to snowboarding, but stay to the end because I'm gonna give you a magical trick that's gonna help you make your turns way more awesome, way more fast, and it's gonna unlock a whole new level of snowboarding, so stay to the end. So the very first thing we're gonna talk about is when you make big, gross motor function movements, it's very hard to control and it takes a long time. So there's a little theory. The closer you make a movement to the board, the faster it is, but it's a little less powerful. And when you make a movement away from the board, like your shoulders, it's gonna be way more powerful, but takes a longer time. So the very first mistake people make is when we're snowboarding, we're waving our arms and making this huge movement with our spine just to get our board to turn a little bit. So I'm gonna give you guys an example of what not to do. This gross motor function looks like this. I'm gonna swing my arms and notice how rapid my turns are. They're very sporadic, but they also take a long time because I can't really turn that well. It's so hard to have the finesse. Now imagine I was doing this and it was really icy. Oh, it just is so hard to control. Imagine we're doing it on our toe side. It is not a very friendly movement. Bullet point number 2 is leaning way too far into our turn where we lose our ability to have balance. Now, the biggest problem with our turning with just leaning in is if we start leaning in, it takes such a long time to go from our toe side edge and go to our heel side edge that it's really challenging in moguls or trees. But it's significantly worse when you get on some icy conditions because your belly button is so far inside the turn and so far away from your edge that your balance point is so hard that your feet just slip out and you fall, and it makes for a bad day. So at the end of the video, I'm going to show you a tactic to how to counter the last position, this position on, and all the rest of them. But when you're standing up way too tall and just leaning in, can really make snowboarding way harder. So I'm going to dive into the trees and show you guys why this is not functional. Now, as I'm leaning into my turn, it can be really hard because I might run into something and it takes so long. So if I'm just leaning into my turn too much, it's not so awesome. Let's dip out of here. This tactic isn't working. One of the biggest mistakes that I see. Now, the third bullet point is one of the biggest mistakes I see when people are turning, especially when you're new to snowboarding, is you want to be comfortable and you want to get close to the ground. So you end up just bending over, leaning way down, and you have to find a way to turn your snowboard. Now, the biggest challenge about this body position is that you limit your POV. Your point of view is very limited because your shoulders are dropped and we'll drop down here and I'm here. It's really hard to see everything that's going on here. And that could be somebody cutting across the run. It could be a sign that I was supposed to go turn on, or it's just noticing that there's an icy spot coming up. So I limit what I'm able to see. The other bad thing is it makes it really hard for us to be in a steady and balanced position, especially as the terrain starts to get choppy at the end of the day. We accidentally go on a mogul run, or we try to go have some fun. It just becomes a lot harder because we're in this low, not so awesome position. And then the way we actually turn our snowboard is we just kick our back foot around, and then we have less control and we have less ability to manage our speed. So sometimes we want to go fast, sometimes we want to go slow. It's way harder to do that. So I'm going to show you guys an example of what we don't want to do. And again, at the end, I'll show you what to do. So my goal, if I'm a new snowboarder, is to get low to the ground and not be so scared. So I'm going to push my hips back and I'm going to get here. So if I happen to fall, it's not a big deal. I can save myself. So again, I'm not blaming you. So as I'm here, what I'm doing now is I take this back foot and I hop back and forward, but my legs are getting sore, my back is starting to hurt, I can't see what's really going on, and especially as I start to go in the moguls, just like this, Up, sorry. Woo, look before you leap. Now all of a sudden I'm here. I can't really see what's going on. And all of a sudden I am in a terrible position to handle these bumps. Bullet point number 4, and the worst body position to be in is when you're leaning in the back way too much. A lot of times as snowboarders, we may be in a taller position, but we're leaning so far in our back foot that we're almost acting like a boat, and it's really hard to make maneuverable, fast, or agile turns because we're backseat. So my good analogy for this is imagine you're driving a car and you turn from the front tires. That's the goal in snowboarding, is to be able to turn from the front of your board, not the back. Now we are in a set of moguls, and I'm gonna try to lean way too far back, and let's see if I can stay on my feet without dying. Is it possible? Might be possible, but it's 10 times harder than it should be. Let's check it out. Plus, we're the only snowboarders in this entire mogul field. Just saying. All right, drop it in 3, 2, 1. So now I notice how hard it is to turn, and I feel like my back leg is getting really tired. Oh yeah, it's really bumpy. Holy cow, I'm not being exaggerating. Now we're gonna pick up a little speed, and I'm gonna see what happens if we start to go fast through the moguls, leaning back. That's actually a lot harder than it should be. So, leaning back, I feel like it's very jarring. My leg is literally so sore from that, holy cow. So the 5th and last bullet point before we dive into how to correct all this is one of 2 things. You just absolutely hillside around the mountain, which ends up making life so much more challenging. And it's like you're driving around the city with your e-brake on and makes life way harder. Or you're just going straight and making these like slips, and you're going heel and toe, but you're not actually able to turn, which is very useful if you're trying to get around people, go ride some moguls, go ride some trees, or go find something fun to play on and actually be able to get there. So I'm gonna show you a little bit of example of that, and then we're gonna dive into how the heck to make you better at turns. All right, we'll do some examples. Not awesome. If I ride my whole life with my e-brake on, is it doable? Yes, but it's not sick. It's very slow, very boring, and it's very tough on my legs. Second to that is if I am going and all I do is turn, I'm slipping, and I'm just slipping. I'm not really redirecting my turns. I'm just going in a straight line. I want to be able to go turn wherever I want, find something fun, do a trick, be able to ride. This is what is fun about snowboarding, is having the ability to go do or go anywhere you want, dodge traffic, spray some snow, make some noise, do some tricks. That's what's fun about snowboarding. So let's go back up the chairlift, talk about how to make you awesome. So I'm gonna dive into my top 3 reasons why the DJI Osmo Action Cam 3 is freaking awesome. And I have to say, the number 1 thing is the battery is pretty freaking amazing. Now, with a lot of the other cameras that I've had, they kind of struggle either operating in cold weather, or their batteries absolutely drain, tank, and it's not sick. They end up wanting to throw them in the woods. But with this camera, it works in negative 10-degree weather. From my experience, it's worked great, and the battery life is awesome at that negative degree weather. I've been absolutely impressed, and that's a big thing of making these videos. I gotta have a camera that's dependable, and that's the first thing that I love about this camera. And my second favorite thing about the Osmo Action Cam 3 is that this thing has such awesome stabilization. No matter who's filming, you're gonna get the shot as long as they're pointing it towards you, and it's gonna look super awesome. If you have a friend who's kind of okay at snowboarding, as long as they can keep up and as long as they can point at you, you're gonna get smooth shots, and you don't have to do as much work in the post-production, which is even better. My third favorite thing about the DJI Osmo Action Cam 3 is how quick and easy it is to go from vertical, horizontal, and back with their mounting system. It's so freaking awesome because I've been grinding on a bunch of TikTok, Instagram Reels, YouTube stuff, trying to get as much content as possible out to help the people. And this camera just makes it that much easier versus having my filmer hopefully hold it the right way, sideways and stuff. It just makes it 10 times easier. This camera is so awesome that when I go to Japan, this is the camera that I'm gonna going to be using, not because they asked me to, because it is actually dependable. So if you're interested in picking up one of your own DJI Osmo Action Cam 3s, go ahead and check out the link in the description below. And I do get a small kickback, so if you want to help support the channel, definitely use the link below, but it's not going to add any cost to you. Just helps me add some, helps me pay for batteries, helps me pay for parking, season passes, and all that fun stuff. So let's get back to the video. So I'm all mic'd up, and I'm actually going to go ride down and explain to you exactly how to do toe side and heel side turns and be as awesome as possible when it comes to turning. And all 5 of those positions / mistakes that we just talked about are going to get fixed by this secret magical way of turning. That's not a secret anymore. Absolutely blowing. All right, hold on to it. Hold on, extend the stick. There we go. All right, so very first point is snowboarding is a lot easier if you just have a little bit of momentum. The next thing is, as often as I can, I want to be in a more upright position. The beautiful thing about this is I'm able to look around. I have an ability to check my blind spot, make sure I'm not getting taken out. I have the ability to look around so I can anticipate people, conditions, or weird spots in the terrain that are really flat and need to keep my speed. So specifically for our toe side turn, what I want to think about is there's a bug on my toe strap, and I'm starting on my heels, and as I start to turn down the mountain, I want to squish that bug that is on my heel strap. So the way I do that is I take my knee and I press it over my toe, and now notice that I'm turning and I'm creating a turn shape. And then when I want to do a heel side turn, I keep my knee bent and I allow my knee to open up and I swing. But I can do all of this with my arms quiet and my chest up. Nice smooth turn, nice smooth turn. Notice that I have 60% of the weight on my lead foot and I'm just making smooth turns. If I want to make larger turns, I squish that bug, but not as aggressively, and I can just make smooth turns. Smooth turns on my heels, and if I need to make rapid turns, I just do that more aggressively. Heel side, toe side, heel side, toe side. Now, if I needed to go left, I go left. If I need to go right, but notice that I'm in this position that is balanced. I can make these turns. It's extremely versatile, meaning I can go in the trees or I can just ride open runs, and this tactic is gonna be amazing. One bonus tip for you guys is as I'm on my toe side edge, notice that I'm not just leaning into the turn and I'm not bending back. What I am doing is I'm pressing my hips over my toes in a nice balanced position just like this, and I'm balanced. Again, I have ability to do all sorts of cool stuff on my heels, my belly button stacked over my heels, and I'm once again in a nice balanced position. As I make these turns down the fall line, boom, balance, shoulders. Notice that my chest is up. My legs are doing these awesome things, but I'm not having to lean and make really slow movements. It's very fast. So to recap, as I do a heel side turn, 60% of my weight in my lead foot, and I'm gonna open my knee, get that board to turn. Push down on the front of my shin, allowing that board to turn. And then if I want to do fast turns, just do it fast. What's up, dog? Good to see you. Good to see you. Yeah! I don't know if you guys remember Tony. There was a video where my hip was busted and I actually talked to the doctor and he was there and my camera died and he actually saved the day. So big shout out to the boy.
Man. Get better, man. I want to see more of those flips.
More flips, more cartwheels. So on that note, thank you guys so much, and I hope this video helped. Definitely share with a friend that needs the video and give it a like, and check out that DJI because it's freaking amazing. This thing is literally the sickest camera ever.